Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to my channel one more time. If you're new here, consider subscribing because we talk a lot about the end of time, coming of the Mahdi, Dajjal, Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So again, if you're new here, inshallah, consider subscribing. This video, actually, someone sent me a link about what happened in Turkey, in the city of Sogud, I think. That's how they call it, Sogud or Sogud. This city in Turkey, they found gold, which is worth, I believe, like $6 billion worth US dollar. They found almost 100 ton of this gold. And the study, they suggest that there is around 6,500 ton more remaining. So subhanAllah, like 6,000 ton more remaining. 100 ton worth $6 billion. It's a huge number of gold, dear brothers and sisters. Huge number of gold. They are still estimating that a lot of gold are remaining under the ground. So they will be finding out more. This gold, the one they found, 100 ton, believe it or not, it is the amount, the amount in dollar figure is bigger than the GDP of a country, of many countries actually. That's what they said. Just this 100 ton of gold is enough to feed an entire nation. That's what basically, in other words, it means. Means if you are a Pakistani, if you are in Malaysia, if you are Singaporean, if you're a Canadian, regardless where you are, this 100 ton of gold, not maybe Canada, developed countries, but developing country or poor countries, this 100 ton of gold can actually feed the entire population. Now, why we are talking about this? Does it have to do with the end of time, coming of the Mahdi, the Dajjal, Ya'juj and Ma'juj? Indirectly, it is. The reason indirectly it is because finding gold, dear brothers and sisters, is not something that Quran, the Hadith, I should say Hadith, never talked about. Hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, Rasulullah SAW, he explicitly mentioned about finding gold. In other words, if you are someone who do not believe in Hadith, maybe you can pivot a little bit more now and reconsider your narrative of Quran is the only book from which we should take knowledge. Maybe you should change that narrative and look into the Hadith as well, because how can Prophet ﷺ, how can, okay, if these are not the word of Rasulullah, how can human being will say, well, there will be gold unearthed, gold revealed, gold found, and that will come true after 1400 years. Like this sayings, the Hadith was collected 1400 years ago. So if human being could predict, let's say these are all human beings, these are not the word of Rasulullah, right? How can human being can possibly say something that will actually come true? So it has to be from Rasulullah. This has to be from the Prophet of Allah Azza wa Jal. When we talk about the Dajjal, coming of the Mahdi, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and the finding of gold, we relate this with the river of Euphrates. Before we talk about the Euphrates river a little bit more, I want to show you this video so that you know what is happening. Let's take a listen. So this is like in Hindi, I believe. So this is the gold, okay? This is the gold. Ertugrul Ghazi, or this personality, Ertugrul, who started off in his own village to expand his dominion, if you like. He did not actually plan that one day his son will become, the Ottoman Empire. They will become an Ottoman Empire. When he started, he was just fighting the neighbors. People who will come and plunder, people who will possess a risk for his village. That's how Ertugrul Ghazi started off. And then slowly but surely, he expanded his dominion, and then his son continued on to spread Islam. And voila, you have Ottoman Empire. Subhanallah. This is how Allah blessed this family. Now, this picture that you're seeing right now behind me is actually what he was showing this guy in that video of gold that was found in Sogud, in the city of Ertugrul. This is Sogud is the city that Ertugrul Ghazi he conquered, and then he established his rule, his law in that city. He built that city from the bottom up. And this is what you will see if you go to Turkey when it comes to gold. They have plenty of gold in Turkey. They have a lot of gold shops, but the point is not how much gold they have in the shops. The point here, dear brothers and sisters, again, I want you to understand this hadith is very clear. The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned about finding gold, and he related that with the end of time. Obviously, finding gold is not finding gold in Turkey, but it shows, dear my sisters, it shows the authenticity of our religion, the authenticity of the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ. He said, now listen to this hadith, very, very important. And this hadith is reported in Sahih al-Bukhari, very, very important. And it was narrated by Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu. He said, Yushikul foratu ayyahsira an kanzin min dahab. Rasulullah said that soon the river Euphrates will disclose or expose or reveal its treasure. Min dahab means gold, treasure of gold. He was very, very specific. And then he said, now, you are living at the end of time, all right, and you find this gold, and this is happening in Euphrates River. If it happened in Turkey, why it would not happen in Euphrates River, in the river of Furat? Because the river of Furat, when it will give up, it will dry up, and we are seeing the water in Euphrates River is actually receding a lot every year, is drying up. If the hadith, it talks about it can happen to a river, and we have seen what happened in Turkey, then dear brothers, it is easy for us to understand that this phenomena is possible, and it is going to happen sooner or later. So Rasulullah, he said, once you find that gold, he said that faman hadarahu, whoever will go close to it, if you go and find that and see the gold, fala yahuz minhu shay, then he should not take anything from it. Why? Because this is a test for the believers. You should not take anything from the treasure. If you are in Turkey right now and you found that gold, you cannot take anything right now anyways, because the government will know. They will catch you, they will put you behind bars. But when we talk about the coming of Mahdi, Dajjal, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, end of time, I said this before. It will not happen, the Mahdi, the Dajjal, end of time will not happen with this current setup. It means there will be no government to tell you what to do, what not to do. Because this hadith, it clearly indicates that people will have the permission, people will have the ability to actually go and take some gold from the Euphrates River. Means there is no government, there is nobody telling them what to do, what not to do. So that can only be possible, in other words, if there is no government, if there is no system there. So the hadith indicates that the system we know today will not remain. It will just, go away. There will be a chaotic situation end of time. And that would only be possible through Malhama, WW3, as I speak about this a lot in this channel. The Malhama, WW3, whatever you call it, the fierce battle, will take place first before the coming of Mahdi, before the Furat river will give up its goal. Yushikul Furat ayyahsira min dahab. Before that happens, the WW3, the Malhama, has to take place. This is my understanding. I can be wrong, but after studying some of the hadiths from my limited knowledge, this is what I say. So if the main thing that I want you to take home is, especially if you have any doubt about our religion, that this religion doesn't make sense, the hadith doesn't make sense, it is time for you to pivot a little bit. Wallahi, this is time for you to think about, to rethink your understanding of hadith. These are word of Allah Azza wa Jal that was put in the mouth of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. These are wahi. He would not have been able to tell us after 1400 years. Who can ever imagine there will be gold and we do not know where the gold is? With all this technology, how is it even possible? It is not possible unless it is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal, when we see this gold, it is from Allah Azza wa Jal. It's giving us a sign that do not disbelieve, do not belie my messenger. Whatever he said is relevant even after 1400 years until the day of judgment. These are all relevant. Allah is telling us, He's giving us sign to believe in hadith and prepare for the end of time. And the way we do it, dear masters, as I said in the past, is through our iman. We do not go and work and make more money and become prosperous as a country. Yes, that's something we should do. We should, make our country better. But that's not the ultimate, that will not give us the ultimate victory. The ultimate victory will come through our iman, when we are fearful of Allah Azza wa Jalla and His punishment. This is a time for us, for dear brothers and sisters, to really get our act together. And the hadith, before I let you go, I want you to consider the other part of the hadith. Rasulullah said, when we see some fitan taking place, right? It can be gold, it's a fitna. It can be woman, it can be anything. It is very important for us to hold ourselves and stay back. Instead of falling for it, we should not be falling for these kind of temptations. The nature of most of these fitan, these temptations, are such that it is not good for you. The goal here, it's open. Anybody can take it. Rasulullah said, do not take it. فَلَا يَأْخُذْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. That do not take it from anything from it. When people will be still able to take it, and they will not take it, but those who will take it, Rasulullah said, 99 out of 100 will die. And every person will think, well, if I go, I will be the lucky one. I will be able to take it. In other words, the hadith is clearly indicating, do not fall for temptation. Do not fall for fitna, whether woman, gold, or whatever it is. Because in this case, people are dying. 99 people are dead out of 100. When we fall for temptation and fitan, our soul dies. This is a physical death, but the spiritual death happens every time we follow this temptation, this fitan, this desire. So this hadith indirectly is telling us what we should learn from it, that you will be tested, just like people of Talut, they were tested. فَمَنْ شَرِبَ مِنْهُ فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. Whoever will drink from the water will be not from us. This is exactly the same situation with this Euphrates River, the Furat, and end of time. That end of time, we need to hold our temptation. Like this video if you did, share this video, subscribe to my channel, inshallah, and I will see you soon again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.